Welcome to the web series of RE Mass Talks with Amit Vats. Today, I have with me an angel investor and Thai Charter member who is passionate about making India a global hub for research and development, manufacturing, and adoption of advanced energy storage and EV technologies. I welcome Dr. Rahul Valavalkar. Welcome, Rahul.
Thank you very much, Amit. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you and glad to be part of the RE Master Talk.
Thank you, Rahul. Uh, Rahul, let's start with your views on the present and future of storage space in Indian clean energy sector.
Sure. No, this is a great starting question. As you know, I have been involved with energy storage industry now for little over 15 years. So I've seen this industry grow exponentially over particularly last 5-6 years. And that has happened because of all the investment which have gone into the innovation and technology development, as well as innovation which has happened on policy and the business model side. So we do see energy storage is going to play a tremendous role as a key enabler for clean energy sector, particularly in India. As you know, Indian government has this ambitious target of getting to 175 gigawatt by 2022 and then continuing to go to 450 gigawatt by 2030. So energy storage technologies will play a very key, important role in us achieving this goal in terms of both grid level energy storage as well as for distributed energy resource integration, eliminating diesel generation, also the transition towards the clean mobility. Energy storage technologies are going to play a pivotal role in this transition.
Great, Rahul. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Rahul. So, Rahul, what as an organization ISA is contributing to the industry?
Sure. So India Energy Storage Alliance was founded in 2012 to create awareness about advanced energy storage and e-mobility technologies in India. Because in 2010, when I returned back from US and started CES India operation, there was hardly any awareness about these technologies. And at that time, I was already almost 6 years working on energy storage space. I'd done a lot of research in US looking at the value proposition of energy storage in electric grid. And after I started looking into the India business case, I was convinced that energy storage has actually better opportunities to help India leapfrog on the grid side what cellular phones did on the telecom side. So we created ISA to create awareness. But then later on in 2015-16, there was actually a lot of talk about should India get started with solar manufacturing. And that time our view was we had already missed the boat and we were a little bit late in considering manufacturing. But that was a time when China had just started building gigafactories. US had announced its first gigafactory by Tesla. So we thought this is actually could be a good time for India to start thinking about advanced cell manufacturing in India and establish a base. So last 5 years, we have worked very closely with all the government stakeholders to try to create the platform for energy storage manufacturing in India. And we are really excited that this week Cabinet has approved the 50 gigawatt hour production link incentive for advanced chemistry cell. We do hope that this will create a vibrant R&D and manufacturing capability in India. But we have also been working on the policy side for helping demand creation, for enabling hybrid projects on the grid side, or we have initiatives such as EV adopter circle for enabling faster adoption of electric vehicles in India. We have MOUs with agencies like EESL for again accelerating the deployment of EV charging infrastructure as well as leasing out electric vehicles. So as a ISA, we are trying to work across the complete value chain. As a result, ISA has grown from 5 members to now more than 130 members, which span everyone from companies who are into renewable industry, e-mobility industry, battery manufacturing companies, as well as companies who are into supply chain, R&D institutions, as well as adopters. So we are trying to support all stakeholders in the industry through our efforts of ISA.
Great, Rahul. Thank you so much for the share and for sharing with us. The government is actually bullish about this fact, and they're pushing the sector into a major way. Thank you. So, Rahul, taking a cue from what you've just narrated, we would want to know that what ISA is doing to cultivate talent and address the manpower requirement in the storage space.
Thank you, Amit. I think you raised a very, very important question because this is a very critical question for any new industry when it is starting, right? And skill development is going to be perhaps one of the toughest challenge for us to meet. And this is area where IESA, in fact, 3 years back launched an initiative called IESA Academy, where we have been doing various online as well as in-person training programs in various with various partners. For example, for automotive trainings, we have partnership with ARAI Academy of the Automotive Research Institute of India. We have partnership with AIMA, Indian Electrical and Electronic Manufacturer Association, for supporting manufacturing industry. We have partnership with Administrative Staff College of India for educating policymakers and regulatory staff of utilities and other key stakeholders. We have partnership with CMET, Center for Materials for Electronics Technology, as well as SECRI, Central Electrochemical Research Institute, for doing hands-on training for cell manufacturing and materials related research. So we are on an ongoing basis looking at such partnership, and especially during this COVID period, we have now invested heavily in building a learning management system. And as part of the IESA membership, we include unlimited access to the online training programs which are done by IESA for members throughout the year. We have their trainings on a 2 different level. We do regularly knowledge series webinars where actually different IESA members share their insights about particular areas where they are working, and it helps in building the community around that. And we also are doing certified training programs where we do properly educational approach, where there are well-designed curriculum and these trainings can be taken. And later on this year, we are also introducing certification courses. Also, we are planning to make these courses open source so that any of the academic institutions who join hands with IESA will be able to access these course materials and teach it in the classrooms. That way, the students coming educating from these institutions can have a better opportunity to get integrated with the industry. We also have started various internship opportunities, and we are also planning to launch a job board later on this year. So we are not looking at training just for sake of training, but we are looking at working with more than 130 members, identifying specifically skill requirements or gaps which exist, and IESA Academy will be working with our partners to fulfilling those gaps.
Great, Rahul. Thank you so much for the share. In fact, all the viewers who are actually watching this program, they can get connected with ISA and make use of all the program which are being shared on the platform. Thanks, Rahul. This was really great. So, Rahul, 3 years from now, what will be the market value of storage in the clean and in a clean green energy space in India and overseas?
Sure. So each year IESA does annual market assessment, one on the stationary side and one on the e-mobility side. So as a combined, we are right now the India energy storage market is somewhere around advanced technologies like lithium-ion batteries is around 5 to 6 gigawatt hour. There is additional almost 20 plus gigawatt hour market which exists for current technologies, mainly lead acid batteries. So we do expect the lead acid battery market to continue. It may stagnate a little bit or maybe go down slightly with introduction of newer forms of technologies, but it will still remain a major part of the ecosystem. But going forward, the advanced technologies, particularly lithium-ion batteries, the market is expected to catch up within next maybe 3 to 5 years with the current lead acid battery market. And going forward by 2030, this market could become lithium-ion battery market would be more than 100 to 130 gigawatt hour as an annual market. There are also, we expect beyond 2025, especially there will be requirements for even longer duration storage technologies. We are already seeing many island applications or other applications where people are looking for 6, 8, 10 hour kind of storage applications. There is even opportunity for flow batteries or metal air batteries for such applications. So we think the market is going to be very vibrant. It will be dominated by the technology technologies like lithium-ion batteries, but there will be also India being such a diverse market, present also opportunities for some of the new chemistry to come in. And just a small addition, I mentioned earlier about the 50 gigawatt hour manufacturing program, which is mainly targeted for commercially mature technologies where individual manufacturing line has to be 5 gigawatt hour or more. But IESA recommended to government and they have accepted to create additional 5 gigawatt hour for niche energy storage technologies where individual manufacturing plant could be just 500 megawatt hour or smaller. And that would create opportunity for having some of the early stage cover technologies which are getting closer to commercialization to also build a manufacturing base in India. So if we are successful in this, we expect in next 3 years, these plants will be operational and we will gain enough experience where some of those will become candidate for next batch of gigafactories.
So clean energy is the way forward now, right, Rahul?
Yes. Yes.
Great. Great. So, Rahul, how do you see the expansion by building international partners in the private sector?
So this is again a very important question. India is a little bit late starter in this area, particularly when it comes to the R&D. If you see, there are countries like US, which has been supporting research in this area now for more than 20-25 years. Although in India, we had Central Electrochemical Research Institute, which has done some research, but we have not been able to connect that research with the industry and commercialize that research. So India ends up generating lots of good researchers, but then they end up going internationally and establishing their career or businesses outside India. So I think there is a tremendous opportunity right now to tap into this vast network which has been built over last 50 years. Each year in September for World Energy Storage Day, which gets celebrated on 22nd September, IESA releases annual ranking of top 50 stakeholders who have influenced energy storage sector, and many of those have very close ties with India. So I think we are a great opportunity right now. The COVID crisis have shown how depending on any one country for your supply chain can be risky. And particularly energy storage is going to be very, very crucial for the not just clean energy, but overall national energy security for India. So this is the area where we should definitely look at building on this international relationship and allow investing companies in India or form technical partnerships. And I'm hopeful that within next 5 to 10 years, India will become actually even a hub for R&D, and we will be even exporting technologies from India. But for the initial 5 years, I think India will benefit tremendously by these international partnerships where we can leapfrog and sort of catch up on the last 5 years, which we have lost because of some of the delays in the policies and approvals. So this is a very important area where we have to leverage international collaborations.
Thanks, Rahul. We as Indians are actually looking forward for this leap to happen, so that more opportunities they come our way as well. So Rahul, out of the box now, I just wanted to know when you're not into clean energy sector, when you're not into the knowledge forums, when you are not into research and development and manufacturing. So what exactly is Rahul doing into his free time if he gets that free time? What's your stress buster? What's your what keeps you up and going?
So I'm blessed with having two wonderful daughters. Both of them are very good on the creative side. One likes on the art side, on the drawing side, and photography. Other one is into creative arts and plays. So I like to get some time with them and my family. Or otherwise, personally, again, this is all now seem too distant, but I used to love going out for cycling or playing some racket sport like tennis or badminton. Now probably I have to start again learning how to ride. It has been almost a year since I've biked outside outdoors. So yeah, so those are some of my hobbies, and obviously same as with the religious following of India, I do follow cricket. So yeah, so these are some of the key things which I spend some time and try to also catch up on some reading once in a while.
Great, Rahul. So we don't just have a doctor sitting here who speaks about clean energy, but he's also a family man. He's an avid sportsman as well. In fact, Rahul, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It was very motivational, very knowledgeable as well. and all of us are looking forward, to see you in person in coming days. And thank you so much for being with us today.
No, thank you very much, Amir. It's always a pleasure. And again, we have always enjoyed partnering with you and all the help which you have provided over the years for us to do various training programs or take the message out to the wider audience. I look forward to continuing this partnership and together making India a global hub for R&D, manufacturing, and adoption of advanced energy storage and e-mobility technologies so that we can take a leapfrog and be a global leader in clean energy and e-mobility in the coming decade.
Great. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for those
Thank you.
thoughts. Pleasure being pleasure being with you.